We want to welcome the head football coach of Lakeland High School, Marvin Frazier, here to the program, Sports Central. And Coach, welcome.
How you guys doing? Pleasure to be here.
Well, our life's a lot easier than your life is, because I cannot imagine filling the shoes. And,
Right.
and I know what you're going to say. There is no filling Bill Castle's shoes.
Can't do it. It's impossible.
And you're spot on, and that's very difficult. And I've been very impressed with what you've done to put your stamp on the program, because it's a big shadow. And how many did he win? Eight state championships in 4 different decades?
Five.
Pardon me.
5.
I did get that right. The last
It's
one
incredible.
was the 5th
Exactly,
decade.
yeah.
No, and of course, coach of the century and all those things. So how do you separate from that? Because you obviously want to lean into all the greatness, but you also have put your stamp on the program. How has that transition been for you, Coach?
I got to be honest. He helped so much. He had a vision. I was able to work with him the last 4 years, and actually the last 5. And he kind of helped with that transition. And he and I had a conversation last June, actually, going into the season about what his vision was and things of that nature. So he definitely helped, and his blueprint is still what we do. That's the foundation. We just jazz it up a little, the 2023 version of it, and just a little different voice, but it's the same message. It's the same message, and it's echoing through those kids. So, what he's built is still there.
So you guys don't run that opening, trap off guard,
Listen,
of the game?
Not first play, but it's coming.
So you're still Lakeland.
It's still Lakeland. It's coming. Not first play.
Well, I think that I want to go ahead and say for you, so you don't have to say this. Lakeland in the regular season right now, 1-2. Calm down. Lakeland's still Lakeland. But talk about the schedule you've played, because if you look at it, Miami Norland, very good team, one of the top-rated teams in the state. You do lose that contest, and then just played St. Joseph's Prep out of Philadelphia, who lost by a field goal to IMG.
Right.
So let's not act like this 1-2 record is a normal, but you seem to have the mentality anybody, anywhere, anytime. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So it wasn't by, we knew what we were doing when we made this schedule.
Right.
And one of those games that kind of gets overlooked is Armwood. It was a kickoff classic, but, those two programs, ourselves and them, every game is a football game. So they're one of the most winning teams in Central Florida as well.
And they beat Venice.
And they beat Venice the following week.
Yeah.
So we knew what we were doing. We were trying our best to schedule the top of the top teams, mainly because when we evaluated last season, a lot of people would tell you last year we went 14-0, state championship run. We had one of the better teams that you'll have. A lot of kids went Division I. But when we played Osceola, we played them twice actually, and Venice, why were those games as close as they were if we should have been way better? And we really feel we weren't as battle-tested as those teams when we played them. We hadn't played anyone near the caliber of Osceola, while they had been playing state powers every single week. So when we got into that game, it was a dogfight where maybe we were a lot more talented, and if we had been in the moment before, we would have handled it a lot better. So this year, our goal was when we see an Osceola or when we see a Venice or whatever the case may be, it's not going to be a culture shock. We're used to this moment, and we can step up and play, Dreadnought football to our fullest ability. So, it wasn't we know where we are. We're 1-2. A lot of people are panicking and saying get them out of here, but at the end of the day, the goal is to be around in December, and hopefully those 2 losses will help us propel us to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How does the culture around Dreadnought football help? It partly helps and hinders, but we'll focus on the help. How's that help?
It's a beautiful thing, and that's the thing about being there the last 4 to 5 years. I can tell you the majority of the tradition and the history of it because I've been able to soak it in. And, you got guys, it's nothing to see on a random day some of the ex-players that played come out to practice. And those guys get to listen to them, and we'll let them talk at the end of practice. We're talking about guys that have been all over the country to different top schools, the Gators, the Canes, the Seminoles, whatever, and then NFL players. And we actually have a former NFL player on our staff, Ahmad Black, who went to the Gators and also had some time in the NFL. So the culture is the culture, and that's something that Coach Castle established way back when he got the job, and he never changed. I mean, the one thing about him, he never changed He had his vision, and he just, the thing he does do is he changes with the time with the kids. But what his foundation and blueprint is always going to be the same, but he knows how to relate with the kids, and I've learned that through him. So the culture is one of a kind. You know, it's nothing. If you're on Highway 98 around 5 o'clock on a Friday night, you're probably going to get stopped and you're going to see a police escort roll in with some buses behind it and a lady ringing a bell for about the next 20 minutes, because that's what they do with Dreadnought football before a home game, and, you know, our buses are on it. So the culture is, you know, is one of a kind.
Well, Coach, I want to warn you, as a Florida State fan, if you say Gators one more time, we might just turn off your mic. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm with you. I'm a Hurricane, kidding, to be honest, but I know where I'm at.
Oh, you're 0 for 2 now.
Yeah, I got you. I respect it.
To that point, with the college football transfer portal, and really it's squeezing high school seniors as they come out of high school. How have you seen it change in the recruiting cycle? Because I think the narrative, in my opinion, is it's very wrong that if you don't go Division I, then you haven't. Anything that gets you the opportunity to continue your education and sets you up for the rest of your life, I think is a great opportunity. So how has the narrative changed about kids committing, once you get that offer, commit right away, because that scholarship may not be there for you, because they may end up loading up with the transfer portal? How have you seen that change?
It's a gift and a curse. I'll be honest, it's one of the conversations we have with our players right out of the gate. Every time they go into their junior year, going to their senior year, we get them all together, the ones that will have the ability to go to that next level. We kind of let them know this is how it works now. You know, every single college across the country is holding, they've got about 25 scholarships, and they're holding 9 to 10 minimum for a transfer. So that leaves at about 15 for you. So, you know, you might get that offer from their school, but they probably offered 5 other quarterbacks, and they're going to take the one that commits first. So a lot of kids don't know the game, and you have to educate them. And once they realize what they're going up against, it's a little easier, you know, for them to handle it. But you hit the nail in the coffin. It's a totally different game. You almost have to commit to a school early, and if you don't, you know, and we've had kids that have gone through this, they thought those offers were there, and they look up and they're not. And then, you know, you have kids that, well, Division II is now calling a name in, and you know, Division I was just a Division I kid. It's like a shock to them, and you can understand it. But like you said, the thing we want our kids to understand is you have the opportunity to further your education and play at the next level. Make mom proud. And the thing about it, maybe you in the following year are in that transfer portal and you're allowed to go to that, you know, school that you wanted to go to, but you have the opportunity to do so. So we have to educate the kids, because it's a totally different game now. It's like the Wild Wild West.
Well, shameless plug from Florida State again. You know, you look at a guy like Jared Verse. He was playing at Albany.
Exactly.
And he popped off the film, Syracuse, I think is who they were playing, and Coach Norvell was like, whoop, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's going to be a first-round draft pick next year. And so you said it's a blessing and a curse. Yeah. So it has shrunk in the ability of available scholarships to Division I, but it's also increased the opportunity because they see the success of smaller schools making the jump to Power 5. So the education part is it's no longer just about this is the GPA, this is ACT, SAT, whatever. Now it's about this is how the game's played.
Right. Exactly. So it's a totally different game. You know, and like I said, last year we were blessed. We had 24 kids going to the next level off of a football team, which is amazing. And that's probably the thing I'm most proud of right now with our group of kids and our coaching staff. We had this gauntlet of a schedule this first month, and no one talks about how we lost 31 seniors. No one even has mentioned that, and 24 of them have gone on to the next level, and we're out there fighting New Orleans, who was a top 25 team nationally, fighting with St. Joseph Prep, who's a top 10 team nationally. So I'm really proud of those kids, but the foundation was set with last year's group as far as, you know, our guys see that it's possible to go to the next level. It might be a different path for you, but it is possible.
Osceola sits at 0-3. They're not 0-3.
Don't be fooled.
Right.
Don't be fooled.
Right.
So, you know, that's funny because last year they were 1-2. And you see the game that, you know, we had a tough game. We won by 3. So they're really good, and they get their best player back. He's the best running back in the country. And he didn't play at all this season, but he's coming back tonight. So we know what we're up against. Don't be fooled by the 0-3. That's a really good team over there. They were 1-2 last year, and they almost got it. So we are well aware of what we got to go against tonight.
So it's got to be wild being we spoke a little bit off camera that it's got to be wild being a high school football coach and being interviewed twice now by Sports Illustrated.
Right. That was a blessing, man. Everything that comes with this thing is a blessing. Like I said, I'm thankful that Coach Castle and I sat down in June, because it kind of allowed me to be maybe 6 months ahead of the process. I knew what was going on. I knew that he was going to, probably call it quits if we finished the season. I knew what, so when Sports Illustrated came, you're not ready for that. That's one of the things you're not ready for. And they called the first time because they wanted to do an article on our kids. We had so many kids that were going to the next level, and then they had me in the numbers, and they called me again, and they said, hey man, this time we want to talk about you. So I was baffled, blushing, and it was exciting and just a humbling experience. Yeah.
Did you have the same reaction when we called about you being on
Yeah,
here?
of course. I couldn't believe it. I'm telling you guys, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, they're about to have me on. I'll be there. So yeah, it's a great moment, guys. You don't even understand. We appreciate what you guys do for the community and everything, and we're going to try our best to continue to be that flagship. A lot of great teams in this area, by the way.
I was just getting ready to ask
they're
about
coming,
that.
So
Terrence McGriff, the basketball coach over Bartow,
Right.
he has always said, if you can get out of Polk County, you can win a state championship. And ebbs and flows on who has the best talent, whether it's a Bartow, Winter Haven, or Ridge, or Haines City, or Lakeland Christian, or whatever. But talk about the talent in Polk County,
Right.
and what that means to rising tide raises all ships. Talk about that in Polk County.
So the reason we scheduled so tough is because of that. We were well aware of the fact that Polk County is as strong as it is, so you have to be prepared for it. I mean, the one thing about right now in the county is there's so many new young coaches, not just myself, but you look everywhere. Coach Pringle just got at Lake Gibson. Coach Eden just got at Bartow. Coach Pringle was there last year. He was his first year, but this is Coach Eden's first year. You look throughout the county, there's a lot of new blood, and everybody's really energetic, and these kids, they feed into it. Polk County, is one of the best when it comes to competition in all sports. So, it's one of those exciting times here in this county when you look around and you see a lot of teams undefeated. Bartow's undefeated. Lake Gibson's undefeated. Coach White is going to get things going at Winter Haven. There's a lot of good football being played. Lake Wells is doing great as always. So, you got to give credit.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you taking the time. We know you got a ball game tonight,
Yes,
and there's a lot of things that go on in addition to having to be at school.
Yeah.
So, good luck tonight, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this interview and want to watch more Sports Central, click the video below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.